Never die. 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 Never die.
Fuck you.
All right, it is 5:46. You might be wondering what happened to yesterday's podcast. Well, I wasn't feeling so well, so no podcast, but this is for Friday. It's 5:56, 5:26, I don't fucking know. But before I get into today's podcast, I want to thank Blackstone Labs for sponsoring this podcast. You can get 20% off your entire order at blackstonelabs.com. That is 20% off your entire order, blackstonelabs.com. Look, you're trying to get jacked, you're trying to get shredded, you're trying to put on muscle, you're trying to look good for the summer, whatever it is you're trying to do, Blackstone Labs can help you. And you can get 20% off your entire order. Use promo code B2the4thpower and get checked out. But also to CH Concrete, serving the San Francisco Bay Area. Look, if you're trying to cement your front yard, your backyard, you're trying to foundations, patios, walkways, driveways, does not matter. CH Concrete can help you. Just mention Angry Dad and get hooked the fuck up. But now that I got that all the way, let me tell you something right now. I have the man from Monster Island. I have the Mr. Ego himself, egotistical, maniacal, the baddest motherfucker on the planet. If you walk in the Bay, he's the real deal fucking machine. And we're here to talk to him today. This is Tony Vargas. Introduce yourself, bro.
Tony Vargas. Like he said, some people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. For me, it's not a gimmick. Like I said, man, I'm all about that life. We can test chins.
Those who don't know what the life is, this man, MMA, pro wrestler, this guy is in the circuit, making shit. Every time I turn around, he's always doing something. He's always making, like I said, I'm always impressed by the athletes that you hold in the amount of leagues that you've done. Football, MMA, pro wrestling. Like I said, it's never ending. And he's a father. He's a full-time worker, and yet still makes time for his dream.
Hey, you know what though? Honestly, I didn't want to be one of those guys where, I'm 50, 60 years old and I look back at my life and been like, damn, I wish I did that. For me, I was lucky. I got to play the pro football. I got to do the MMA scene. I got to be a pro wrestler. I got to be a father, which to me is my greatest accomplishment because my two kids are obviously my world. Kids are life-changing, bro. I went from being a straight dickhead and whatever. Now I'm a dickhead with a smile. But yeah, like I said, I just didn't want to be that guy who sat back and like, damn, man, I wish I did that. Or, like you heard those people in high school and stuff, like when your football team was, if I was on that team, it would be hella good. And, well, shut the fuck up. You wouldn't be, you're not going to make nothing, So for me, I didn't like talking the talk. For me, let's give it a go. Football, like I said, I was fortunate, to go as far as I did. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even think I was going to go as far as I did. My passion's baseball. A lot of people don't know that. And I never played organized baseball until my junior year in high school, and playing football, it all started off. I would have bet my life I was a tight end. I would have told you, no, I'm a tight end. I didn't have speed, man. I had 2 lead bricks on my feet, And we're at practice one day, and the quarterback at the time was 5'0", can barely throw the ball 5 yards, and it was before a scrimmage game, and I'm just throwing the ball, 50, 60 yards like it's nothing. And my coach was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And I was like, because I cut class that day. I was like, I'm going to get in trouble. And he's like, you're our new quarterback? And I was like, yeah, I've never played quarterback in my life. Like, I'm a tight end. And he was like, you're going to be a blocking tight end. Long story short, I broke records at, Hayward High School as a quarterback. I went on to go to college. I went on to play arena football. I had tryouts with the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets, the CFL as well. For me personally, if it was meant to be, I'd still be doing it. But, for me, when that chapter closes, another one opened, and that's when the MMA kicked in. And it just, again, I didn't want to be no regrets. Or as that movie would say, no regrets.
No.
It's my credo. But yeah, like I said, it's just living life, man. Living life to the fullest.
Okay. That living life to the fullest is something I always try to preach on this podcast because, like I said, I'm so like every time that we get together, every time see you, every time you get to be on stage, or whatever you're doing, it's just like, it's like magic, because it's inspiring to me, because I'm like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the things that I want to do in my life, but see you do the things and achieve those goals. It's just, that's why I wanted to get you on this podcast, because those are the kind of people that need to be promoted, that need to be shown that it can be done. And it, like I said, it just blows my mind every time that we speak and talk. I even know you. Like I said, that's just the fanboy in me, because like I said, hey, the things that you've done and watching you wrestle the way you wrestle and being in that ring, you know what I'm saying? That like I said, it's just very, it takes me to another level. It makes me want to be on another level, and I enjoy seeing it,
Well, hey, that's why I do it, Like I said, for me, the fighting, it came by complete accident. I wrestled in high school and didn't think nothing of it. And at the time, one of my bosses was an amateur MMA fighter, and he was training for a fight, and he was like, hey, help me train. This guy I'm going to fight's a purebred wrestler. You're a wrestler, so just help me train. So I was like, all right, cool. And so we're going through training and this and that, and he gets hurt. And I was like, damn, all that hard work for nothing. And he was like, nah, since it's amateur, you're the same weight as me. I talked to the promoter, and I was like, hey, we got you as a fill-in. And, like, before I could say no, like, the entire gym looked at me. So I knew if I said no, they're going to be like, this fucking pussy, man, So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Of course, again, I was just like, damn, I never got in an MMA fight. Like, I don't know what to do. Fast forward to the fight. The dude shot on me. I panicked. Legit. I'm not afraid to admit it. I panicked, threw my knee up, hit him in the temple, knocked him out. 22 seconds later in the first round, my hand's getting raised. And I was just like, you know what? I'm hooked. Let's do this. And, like, right now, personally, like, I feel like I'm banging with the best if I'm standing up and on the ground. Like, that's why, the Machine nickname came about, because, like, when I started, competing, he gave me the nickname because he said I showed no emotion. Like, my goal was when I hit you and I felt nothing crack, I didn't hit you hard enough. Like, across my chest, it's tattooed. It says, know your fate. Because basically, when you sign on that dotted line, your fate's been sealed. Like, I'm trying to end your career. But, of course, after the match or whatever, I'll shake your hand. I used to tell everyone before the fight, believe it or not, I don't got no ego. Win, lose, or draw of this fight, first round's on me. So if you're drinking top shelf or a bottled water, it's on me, And, again, if he knocked me out, same thing. When I collect my thoughts, it's like, bro, what are you drinking? So that's just always the way I've been. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde attitude, outside the ring, as you know, I like to joke around and have a good time, but in that ring, it's business.
Yeah. You got to flip that pitch, you know what I'm saying? When it's time to get into that deep, dark corner to make shit happen.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. And that's the thing, too, is like, with everything that you've done, and like I said, I'm going to focus more on the wrestling because that's the part that I enjoy most. But
for sure,
with the amount of training and time and effort you have to put into this, what are things that you would tell people that actually want to, just try to do pro wrestling, how to get into the, or even, just to learn the fundamentals? Where would be the first spot they would have to go look?
I mean, obviously, there's wrestling schools all over. Right now I kind of don't want to really name drop any because, this whole movement that's going around, I don't want to, like, put anyone in a certain spot or whatever, but there's a wrestling school. First thing to look for is a wrestling school. My big thing is I'm lucky enough. I'm one of the instructors, one of the teachers. So the way I tell everybody is there's no secret. You get what you put into it. You half-ass your workouts and half-ass your training. Don't act surprised when you've been training for a year and a half and you ain't had your first match yet. Yeah. Like for me, I was fortunate. I had a partner who started the same time I did. So when we trained, it was, I guess, competition with one another, who's going to make their debut first. And we just kind of pushed each other and we both made that debut. And again, there's no secret to anything. It's life, it's work, everything's performance based. You perform, you're going to be on the show. You don't perform, you're not going to be on the show. Just like in real life, your job's performance based. You don't perform, guess what? You're fired. So, but I would just say, just expect to be sore. A lot of people say, oh, you do that fake shit. And I always tell them, like, let me hit you with the chair. These men and women, we put our bodies through hell. These young kids, they watch Total Divas or all this shit that you see on MTV. They don't see what those the Bella twins go through. They don't see what, all us indie wrestlers go through. We put our bodies through hell. And like you said, I'm a full-time dad and a full-time worker, but yet I still go train and still got to do what I got to do to, pursue that side of my childhood dream. But, nowadays it just seems like people want to put bare minimum work but want top results. And from lifting weights.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get swole or hella strong lifting 10 pounds every day. You gotta push yourself, and that's the same thing with pro wrestling. It's you're getting slammed on the floor basically.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with getting slammed on the floor repeatedly, and rope burn, mat burn, and twisted ankles and twisted knees, jacked up fingers, your neck's gonna be sore as shit. You're okay with that, and you're willing to keep coming back. That's all it takes. It's heart. I mean, again, for me, MMA, heart gets you the respect and the handshakes. It don't win fights, but it gets you that. Pro wrestling, heart gets you everything, man. That shows that you have that passion and this and that. Like for me, again, I've played football in front of thousands. I fought in front of thousands. The pro wrestling fans, to me, are hands down the best fans because you've been to a lot of my shows. We interact with you. When you do your chants, I'll chant right back with you. We go in there and that interaction, your kids seeing their faces and other fans in there seeing their faces when my music hits, I don't care about wins. I don't care about losses. I don't care how many likes I can get on Facebook or social media or any of that bullshit. For me, when I go out there, it's about putting on a show, giving you guys your money's worth. Like I tell everybody, and you see it all the time, hashtag.
Yeah.
I may not be your favorite. I may not be the best, but you'll sure as hell be entertained by me. I promise you that. By the end of my matches, you won't say, oh, Vargas, you lost or this or that. You'd be like, dude, that was a good-ass match. Or, hell yeah, I'm glad so-and-so kicked your ass. It was amazing. You know what I mean? So that's my goal when I go out there.
And that's the right goal to have because, like I say, wrestling, it's an athletic sport. It's a competitional sport. But the thing is, it's entertainment. And like you said, you always get a lot of people that are like wrestling's fake, wrestling's this. But the thing is they don't understand that it still takes training. It still takes conditioning. It still takes a beating on your body. And talking about injuries, I've seen you take some serious bumps, bro. Some serious bumps. And, and like I said, you had a scare there a little bit. But, I want to talk about your comeback. What was the whole – because, like, for those who don't know, you were off for about, I want to say maybe about a year.
Yeah, I was out 14 months.
Yeah.
So basically how it all started was, again, I seen a documentary on Netflix. It was about a football player. He played for the New Orleans Saints. I forget his name, but he was on the special teams, and, he was a pretty good player. He was making a name for himself. I seen this documentary, and he started talking about how he had numbness in his arms and numbness in his legs and all these symptoms. And I was like, fuck, I got all of these symptoms. Like, it freaked me out. And I didn't know why, because, again, at the time, I was still playing, football, and I was also wrestling. So it's just contact after contact. So I was like, oh, my God. So it freaked me out. I went in, got all those tests done. Turns out I didn't have that, disease or whatever he had. But my doctor was like, hey, let me just take an MRI just in case because of all the contact you're doing. And I was like, yeah, no worries. We do the MRI, found out I had a slight fracture in my spine, in my neck area, and then my lower lumbar L3, 4, and 5 were completely inflamed. So basically he told me, he was like, hey, you keep living the lifestyle you're doing, you're going to end up paralyzed. So you got two options, either stop or end up paralyzed. And of course the sports guy in me, because again, since I was 12 years old, I was go, 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 go. No stop, no break, no nothing. And so I told my doctor, I was like, oh, okay, paralyzed for how long? Because that was the first thing in my head was like, okay, I can beat paralyzed. I'll be paralyzed for like 2 months and I'll be back at full strength. And yeah. Right. So then, yeah, exactly. So then, like, the adultness kicked in, if you would. Like, I looked at my kids and I was like, dude, I want to be able to play with them. Yeah. I was like, as much as I love football and I love pro wrestling, I have to walk away. So against doctor's orders, I had my last match.
I was there.
Again, it was against the fallen angel, Chris Matthews, and Mike Matthews. And again, we went for 30 plus minutes, and he did the AA into the turnbuckle. Like, we went crazy. Like, I didn't hold nothing back. I ended up retiring for about 14 months for me personally, it sucked because I didn't retire my way.
Yeah.
You know, when I wanted to retire, I wanted to retire on my terms, me walking away and being comfortable with it, not because of medical injury or nothing like that. So, of course, I had my couple months of my pity party, and I deleted all my social media because I was like, I don't want to fucking see any of it. And I wouldn't watch wrestling. I didn't go to any wrestling events. Like, I just cut off from the world.
Yeah.
You know, select a few people I talked to here and there via text, but I just just isolated, which I kind of needed to collect my own thoughts, you know, and I just busted my ass. I was like, nope, I'm coming back. So I did all the shock therapy to my neck and chiropractor, physical therapy. Like, I just busted my ass to get back. And the doctor was like, dude, you're making great improvements. And I was like, can I get cleared if I keep making these improvements? And he's like, as your doctor, I would say stop, but be smart if you do get cleared. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
I just kept pushing myself. And then finally it got to the point where my last MRI, my neck was fine. My lumbar was good. And I was like, am I clear? And he was like, you're clear. Called up the sensational Son Sims, fellow Monster Island brother.
Oh, yeah.
And that night I did a triple threat match with him and Manny Fabrino, who's now in, the WWE. But yeah, the day I got cleared, I had my first match back.
Okay.
Granted, you can tell I was out for 14 months, but just getting back in that ring was an accomplishment in itself. Like, that was good enough for me. Yeah. I didn't need to do no fancy moves or any of that. Like, just to step foot in that ring and take a bump and be okay, that was enough for me, and, the rest is history, I'm back, bitch. No.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's that right there that people need to take away from that. If you can work through this, you can do it smartly. You're doing the things that you need to do properly. You can make your dreams happen, even when something like that is thrown at you, man. Like 14 months of not knowing and then rehabbing and then trying your best to fucking get back at it and then hitting it. That's, what I'm saying? That's the kind of shit you see in movies. You know what I'm saying? This is daily life. This is your life. And people need to take that inspiration from it, because it's like, if you would have gave up, guess what? You would have not come back. You would have been just done. You know what I'm saying? Back on the scene, making things happen. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see you, it just gets better and better. And it's, you know what I'm saying? I know this whole Corona thing's got on lockdown for shows and wrestling and stuff. But I can't wait to get right back into indies. I don't wrestle. I just watch. And man, do I love wrestling? Man, do I love watching? Do I love the drama? Yes, I do. And you know what? You portray it so much. You know what I'm saying? In what you do in portraying this, do you take any kind of acting angle at it, or are you just kind of just gonna spit it out from the mouth?
No, like, everything you see is organic. When I'm a bad guy, or a heel, if you would, that's the best part about that, is you can say what you're really feeling, and of course people, oh, boo, you suck, ah. But, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, here's a little secret. Like, if I see a kid and I'm like, hey, you're ugly, like, in my head I'm like, that kid's ugly. Like, I have to be able to insult people and be okay with it, because I know at the end of the show that kid's gonna probably want an autograph or a picture. But for me, it's just, you got to make it organic, because these fans, we call them smarks, the smart marks, they can see through it. They can see right through it. Like, they can see when you're being fake. Like, if you're a good guy and you're like, yay, let's go team, rah, rah. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. They can see if you're a bad guy and you're a bad guy where you can get legitimate heat, you're good. Like, for me, it's tough, because when I came back, I was supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
I came back and everyone's cheering me. I'm doing raking of the eyes, and my famous thing where I grab your mouth and I rip it open. I say, smile for me, hippie, stuff like that. And people cheer it. And I'm like, damn. So for me, it's cool, but it's just, it's just Tony on a bad day. That's Tony as a heel, No secret to that one. Like, I'm just going to go, and hopefully you don't got your feelings ain't going to get hurt, because I'm going deep.
It's like, the people need to understand that when you're in the ring, it's in the ring. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, it's crazy, because, like I said, it just, all I want people in this world is to do exactly what you're doing. If everybody in this world could chase their dreams and make this shit happen, how much better would the world be? You know what I'm saying? Everyone would actually be able to fucking be happy and be like, look, I'm actually chasing a passion, or at least attempting to chase a passion if you want it, if you love it, you know?
Exactly, and that's the problem nowadays. It's nowadays is everyone wants to point the finger on why they're not succeeding. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not doing it because my knee hurts today, or I'm not getting on the roster because the coach don't like me. Yeah. It's always somebody else. It's never you. The moment you realize that you're probably part of that problem, that first part just accept that. Like for me, I know I was a dickhead. I knew that, but my thing was this is I'm not going to be a dickhead to people just to be an asshole. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm mean to people who are talk shit about me because this pro wrestling world, let's be honest, it's a bitch, bro. Like, I've never been a part of a bunch of like prima donna fucking these larger than life characters that are, let's be honest, soft. Some of them, oh, he's wearing the same color as me, or oh, Vargas didn't shake my hand. I didn't shake your fucking hand because you're over there talking shit about me. So instead of punching you in the mouth, I'd rather just walk away and ignore you. And, and that's the thing. That's where the whole Mr. Ego persona came, because these guys will sit there and talk shit about me. Like Sin, Sin. They'll talk shit about Sin. I'll call them out. Yeah. And then they'll be like, oh, no, it's Vargas. He's got the ego. He's got this. He's got that. And so when I came back, I was like, all these motherfuckers who said I had an ego because, instead of punching them in the face, I just ignored them. Yeah. So you know what? I'm coming back. I'm the egotistical psychopath, Mr. Ego. And guess what? Every time you see that and that T-shirt sells, you just made me money. It's my way of slapping them in the face. Like, who has the ego now? Like, anyone who's ever wrestled me knows I ain't got no fucking ego. Yeah. Like, my thing is like, look, dude, give me like 5 moves, and they're not even big moves. Just give me 5, maybe 3. Yeah. Beat the shit out of me for the rest of the match. I don't care. Because, like, for me, that's the problem. It's me. Look at me, guys. Look at me, world. Look what I did. Did you see? I don't care. Like, my job is simple. If whoever I'm wrestling needs to get put over, I'm putting them over. They're going to look like $1 million. They're going to do all that stuff, and I don't care. Like, I don't need that boost of ego and whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if I did my job, they're not going to be like, hey, Vargas, you lost to Joe Schmo. No, they're going to be like, hey, that was a fun-ass match. It was great, yada, yada. Not once will they mention who won or lost that match. Exactly. And like you just said, for me, I'm living my dream. I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler since I was little. It took a little longer than expected, but at the end of the day, who says they can go travel the world just wrestling? You know what I mean? Like, that to me is awesome. I get to meet new people. Some are awesome. Some are dickheads. Let's be real. But at the end of the day, the pros always outweigh the cons. Yeah. And my thing is if you don't try it, you'll never know. You know what I mean? You'll never know. Like, I know I'm not the greatest wrestler. I don't do flips. I don't slap my thigh 1,000 times. Yeah. I don't kiss ass for a booking. That's just me. Yeah. Like, if you want me, bro, I will give you balls to the wall. I'll go through thumbtacks, barbed wire. Like, I ain't tripping. If you want me, let's do this. If you don't, cool. Again, I'm not for everybody. Yeah. And no hard feelings. But again, if I don't shake your hand, it's for a reason. It's not because I'm trying to be an asshole. It's because you're talking shit about me. And the easiest way to do it is walk right by you and ignore you. Because, I mean, if you want to pop off, I ain't tripping. Hope you got medical, kid. So that's just how I look at it, man. And again, thank you guys for making me money.
With all the traveling you've done, what's the one person you geeked out on, the wrestler that you met, someone that was like, you caught you off guard?
Well, so for me, we call it marking out. Yeah. It's just not for me. Like, I've never done like again, the promotion I work for, we have a lot of former, like, Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, like, big name super. I never was like, oh my God. But I will say, when I wrestled in Montana, like, I loved Harlem Heat. Yeah. Still do. I think they're like one of my top favorite tag teams besides the Hart Foundation, British Bulldogs, and, the Demolition. But I met Booker T. And like inside, I was like, you know, just this little fanboy. I was like, oh my God, that's Booker fucking T. And so of course I kept it casual. I was like, hey, how you doing, sir? You know, nice to meet you. Just I want to let you know, like, hands down, your Harlem Heat was one of my favorite tag teams growing up.
Yeah.
And I just kind of left it at that and walked away.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the duck in the pond moment where on top I was super calm and professional. Yeah. But underneath that water, my body and nerves were just going 1,000 because it's Booker fucking T, man. So I was stoked, man. Like, but that's like the one, like Bret Hart growing up, I've always liked him.
Yeah.
But when I first met him, he was a dick. So I was just like, I walked up, I was getting ready to get an autograph, and like he was just so rude. And like it was my turn, and he kind of looked at me, and I was like, you know what? I don't even want one. And I walked away. Like I waited in line for like an hour for that autograph, and I was just like, you know what, man? Like you could at least make eye contact, you know, acknowledge your fans. Yeah. Again, he probably was having a bad day at the time, but that moment, I was just like,
you know, hey,
so these
there to be for, you know what I'm saying? There, you know,
exactly.
There that make you money, you know what I'm saying? These are people that pay that money to see you, to be with you, you know, just to have that little acknowledgement, you know.
Exactly. That's why, like with me, any fan who wants an autograph or a picture or whatever, like I'm down. Like I'm not, even if it takes 3 hours to get those autographs and pictures, I'm gonna talk. You've seen it. Yeah. I've had a crowd where I've talked to every single person, their kids, everything, and it's just how. I mean, you guys paid good money to come watch this show. Yep. Like, who am I to be the dickhead and be like, oh, well, you already paid, get out of here, buy my merch? Like, exactly. Come on, man. Like, I've even gave some fans merch for free.
Yeah.
Ring worn gear. I autographed it, you know, and I gave it to him because I was just like, you know, he kept coming to me, kept going to the shows, like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours, and to me, again, I'm nobody in the real world, you know what I mean? Like, for them to be like, oh, you're my favorite wrestler, of course, in the world of these amazing women and men in the wrestling business. So I was like, okay, next show I got something for you. Next show I had some ring-worn gear and autographed it and gave it to them, and, you know, just stuff like that. It's my way of saying thank you, you know, because, again, I'm in a business where there's so many incredible men and women that do this on every level, whether it's indies or, you know, Ring of Honor, WWE, TNA, like whatever it is. There's so many, but for them to say you're my favorite,
exactly.
Bro, like what's up? Pictures and autographs all day. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. You know, it's like I said, it's just that's you know, like I said, you are the embodiment of motivation. You're the embodiment of professionalism because, like I said, you do this professionally. Period. And what I mean professional, just like you said, you speak to the people the way they need to be spoken to. You treat the people the way they need to be treated, and you conduct yourself in a business-like manner with almost every promotion that I've ever seen you with. And it just shows the gentlemen that you need to have to do this business. And I know wrestling, it's a crazy business. It's a whirlwind. It's up in the air. It's all around. But the thing is if you want something, you have to be dedicated to it. And by being dedicated to it, you get what you've got. This is what you deserve. This is how you deserve because you are out there making a difference. You put smiles on faces. My kids love watching wrestling. My kids love watching you wrestle. You know, say they hear me yelling and cheering, and you know, they get these things from me because this is what I pass on to my kids. I love wrestling as a kid, so when I pass it on to them, it just like my son will sit there and watch WWE Network all day long, asking every bit of questions. When next time we're gonna go to a show? Was Tony gonna be there? You know, all these different things are going on, and you know, they start developing their own wrestling style, wrestling for you know, I like this person, and it's just so crazy because, like I said, you're doing something that I wish I could have done, and the only reason I never did it is because it just wasn't in the cards for me. I found something else that I loved more, which was bodybuilding, but wrestling is something that brings joy to my heart, joy to my kids' heart. And to see you doing that, it just makes me feel fucking great. It makes me feel amazing that I know somebody who's actually, you know what I'm saying? It's fucking insane, bro.
And this is why I do it. You know, again, like I got this persona in the wrestling world. And if those people who actually don't like me, promoters or wrestlers or whatever, those are guys from he say, she said type shit.
Yeah.
Never once came talk to me or whatever. And I always tell everybody, like, if you have an issue, come talk to me. Because believe it or not, like Tony Vargas, the machine in the ring, is not who I am in the locker room.
Yep.
You know, again, if I'm an asshole to you, it's for a reason. It's not because I'm just gonna pick and choose. It's because either A, you're talking shit, or you're taking away my bookings, or you know what I mean, stuff like that. Where I'm like, you know what? Let me be the better person, and not knock you out.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna ignore you. And you know what? Go ahead, tell those people that Tony has this ego, and because that makes you feel better. And again, that's the thing. You're gonna hit speed bumps.
Yeah.
Those are the bumps in the road, no matter what path you take, no matter it's pro wrestling, football, you know, whatever your passion is, bodybuilding, you're going to have people. No one wants to see that person succeed.
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't care. It's lies. No one wants to see that person do better than you. It's reality of the world we live in.
Yeah.
You know, let's be real. If you can have 5 bodybuilding buddies, all 5 of them, they're going to be like, yeah, bro, push it. But realistically, they're like, oh, I hope he gets hurt, or, you know, shit like that. And that's the shitty world of it, you know. And pro wrestling, like I said, with me, I've never, ever turned my back. Like with Sin, you know, there was bookings where they were like, hey, I want you, but I don't want your partner. And I'm like, well, then you don't get me.
Exactly.
And I talk about it like, did it hurt my push as a singles wrestler?
No.
Probably. But in the long run, I know I didn't screw. I'm true to myself. I'm true to my tag team partner, and even with Bike Club. If you don't like Bike Club, then you don't like me. Straight up. You know, I don't need pro wrestling. I love it. Like you said, I love it. Like, I love professional wrestling, and I don't need it though. If I can walk away today and never go back and be happy, but some of these people, they need it. Yeah. You know, they need that little pat on their back, like, oh, you're amazing. And this, I don't. Like, for me, I can walk away and you can never talk about pro wrestling to me, like, and I'm okay with that, because for me, I lived my dreams. Yeah. And that's plural. That's with an S. Yes. I got to play pro football. I got to do the pro MMA. I got to do the professional wrestling. You know, I'm a father. Yeah. So to me, I can walk away right now and be happy. Yeah. You know, but like you said, everyone's dream is different, and you can't give up on it. It's corny, but it's true. Like, performance based. Everything's performance based. You don't perform, you don't put that work in, don't blame other people for your lack of results. Exactly. You know, it's like a diet. People do a diet for 4 days and they're like, well, I haven't lost no weight. It's like, yeah, you got to give it time. You got to give it time, man.
That's it. Well, you know, with all that being said, I want to thank you for being here. Go ahead and put yourself social media is where everyone can find you, and I'll put it all in the notes too. You know what I'm saying? If you want to shout out, go ahead and shout them out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll tag them too.
Hey, you know, so the Monster Allen boys, you know, this Bike Club, we ain't a faction. It's a real life brotherhood. You know, Sean Sims, Devin Danger, Popcorn Mike, like, and obviously, you know, Sin's my brother. Those are brothers, man. Those are, again, we joke around in the wrestling world is how many people you hate you can count on one hand. I'm the opposite. How many people I actually like in this business I can count on one hand. But as far as where you can find me, I only have Instagram. Again, I'm not a big social media guy. It's Mr. Ego, one word, _Tony _Vargas. Again, that's the only thing I have. That's where you can find me. But other than that, man, you know, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I just, you know, it's good catching up with you. You know, it's this whole Corona thing going on, and you know, we got to get the boys back together. You know,
you know what I'm saying? Because we got a wolf pack.
Hey, you know, hey, right there, boy. Yeah. So again, thank you for having me.
Thank you, bro. And like I said, for everyone listening, like I said, this is what living your dream is. This is what I'm always preaching about. This is what I want people to do, because I'm trying to live my life the same way. He's living the life this way. He's in the life. He's about that life, and that's what I'm fucking talking about. So guess the angry motherfucking dad. You want to watch shit? IGTV, YouTube. You want to listen to Spreaker, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, SoundCloud, Deezer, iHeartRadio. This motherfucker's everywhere. You can easily find it. Rate, review, like, subscribe. Also, too, make sure you check out Sit Network. Sit Network, a slightly irregular podcast network. Whole bunch of powerful podcasters putting their shit out there. Sitnet.us, Sit Network at Instagram. All the information in the bottom in the notes. Blackstone Labs, 20% off your entire order. B2the4thpower at checkout. Also, too, CH Concrete, serving the San Francisco Bay Area. So guess the fuck what? I'll see y'all motherfuckers on the next one.
Always living. always living, always living, always living, always living, always living.